Hello my friends and welcome to the stream. We are here tonight as part of the end of the first week of BFA and we are working on getting geared up. So we're here in the Mythic Underrot. This is the last, well, for now it's the last Mythic that I've got for the week. I haven't done either of Siege of Borealis or King's Rest, but I also don't have those unlocked quite yet. So it's maybe the last one that we get to this week. Depending on how this one goes, I'll work on finishing unlocking Siege of Borealis, and maybe we can squeeze that in tonight as well. So we are here in Mythic Underrot. This is a pug, so hopefully things go well. We'll see once we get to the bosses. All the other mythics that I've done so far have been guild groups, so they actually went really smoothly. I think if you get a group of people who are used to playing together and know what they're doing and know how to CC and everything, and you're all in voice chat together, then it really goes smoothly. All right. Bring up sweeping strikes here. Let's interrupt that if we can. Alright, let's stun him. Let's kill this befouled spirit. Get lots of executes in here. Hey, Andrado, what's up, man? How's it going? What do I think about the Arms Warrior changes? So, I don't know if there are any today. The only one I've seen so far was the Mastery change. Is that the one you're talking about? Where they buff Mastery and then they reduce the overall damage to compensate? Or are you talking about just the BFA changes in general? If you're talking about the Mastery one, I'm actually a big fan of that. It's not really a nerf or a buff. It's more of a rebalancing. The problem is Mastery for Arms was ridiculously weak. I mean, should dodge that. I think we're gonna be okay. I think for most people, I think I'm supposed to get away from that. Alright, let's bring up sweeping strikes here. So for most people, Arms Mastery was like worth less than a tenth of the other stats. So that's obviously broken and not intended. And so the change was to address that issue specifically, with the goal being that your DPS would end up being about exactly the same. And I think they've accomplished that pretty well. So your DPS shouldn't be too different. If you had a lot of Mastery on your gear, it's actually a bit of a buff. If you didn't have much Mastery, then it's... oh, this is Heroic, not Mythic. Alright, well this will be really easy then. Okay, we're going to zone out and zone back in. I was wondering why that AoE wasn't hurting. Well, while we're running out and running back in, welcome to the stream, everybody. We're talking about Arms tonight. I am playing Arms, as you can see. The first question was, what do you think about the Arms Warrior changes? Is it a nerf or a buff? It's not really either. If you had a lot of Mastery on your gear, it's going to end up being a little bit of a buff. If you had no Mastery at all, which is a little bit unrealistic but possible, then it would be a very slight nerf. But the goal was to make Mastery a stat that's not just completely broken for Arms, because that's where it was. It was worth like less than a tenth of the other secondary stats, and that's obviously not what we want to have happening. So that was the goal, and it looks like it's accomplished that pretty well. Arms is still very, very strong, and now, you know, all the pieces of Mastery gear that you have, like this ring right here, are not completely useless. So overall, I think that's a positive change. So now that we're actually here in Mythic, let's get buffed up. So this is a pug that we're doing here in the Underrot. Looks like it's going to go pretty smooth. I think these guys seem to know what they're doing. Ooh, these guys explode. Let's... Alright. Did not notice that they were exploding on Heroic. So yeah, we're doing Mythic Underrot. I've done all the other Mythics that I have unlocked. I'm on the quest line to unlock Siege of Paralis. I have not yet gotten through the quest line, obviously, then to unlock King's Rest. So we're probably not going to get to those two this week. But this will be the last of the other Mythics that'll need to get done. So hopefully this goes well. Let's get a Blade Storm up. And let's interrupt that. Get Sweeping Strikes and execute. If you have high mastery, you should have less taste and less crit. Yeah, I mean, at this point, we're just going with whatever drops, though, right? Like, most people don't have, like, 4 weapons to switch out or, you know, a bunch of different rings. We're just kind of going with what we get. And so if what you got so far happened to have mastery on it, then... Look, it didn't make the buff, not nerfer buff, the change didn't make mastery the best stat for arms, but it brought it from being a worthless stat to actually contributing and, you know, being somewhat worthwhile. I mean, I saw the example, like, you could get a 60 item level upgrade, and if it had mastery, it might actually be a downgrade. So that's obviously not the intended design goal for gear in World of Warcraft. And the change that was made to arms with the buff to mastery and then the nerf to overall damage was to address that. Hopefully keeping overall damage for arms warriors pretty much in the same place. If there's like even if it's like a 2 or 3% nerf, if they did that, but then mastery is actually a worthwhile stat, I'm okay with that. Ares, how you doing, man? Happy to see you here tonight. Alright, here we go. I almost died on this pull on Heroic, so let's try not to die in Mythic here. Alright, we're gonna Warbringer Blade Storm. Ooh, that's a lot of damage. Let's just pop die by the sword. Oh, I have aggro, that's why. Let's just kill that. Sweeping Strikes. Maybe. Man, these GCD changes. Oy. Yeah, the DPS must stay the same. Yeah, it's about the same. I mean, I didn't notice like any really big difference in my overall damage. And I had some mastery on my gear. I think it wasn't my highest stat, but it wasn't completely absent. The pull on the other side's way easier. What's up, Soul? Yeah. I'm not tanking, though, so just along for the ride here. Alright, let's get some damage going on this boss.
Beware.
I should have saved Sweeping Strikes. I keep hitting it out of habit.
Beware.
Which I guess is better than not using it at all, but as long as it's back up when the ad spawns. And it's not.
Beware.
It'll be back up, no, maybe before the ad dies. Well, let's at least get some executes in here.
Beware.
This boss is pretty easy, though.
Beware.
Let's dodge, interrupt. Get another Warbreaker in. And there goes the boss. Mage got a nice trinket. I assume that's a nice trinket. And with a on-use damage. Seems good. I think Mage is probably going to be the second character that I level. Mostly because my Mage is my enchanter. Now let's stay away from these exploding things. I guess I got bopped. Yeah, but bop doesn't help with magical damage. Alright, we'll just run back. Those things hurt. I was the only one that got. First week of the expansion fun, right? Everybody's under geared. Everybody's a little bit undertuned. Ooh, is there? Oh, there's a world quest. I wonder if we're gonna do that. I would guess so, but we'll see. I'm gonna leave it up to the tank. Looks like it. Yes, maybe. We'll find out. We'll find out, team. All right, Warbreaker and Blade Storm. I better pop dab with the sword here. That's where you really see the threat changes come into play when you pull antics like that. But how can I not Blade Storm? How can I not just charge in a Blade Storm? Rotmaw. Guessing we're going to pull these separately. These sweeping strikes. Warbreaker. Interrupt that. Stun that. Ooh, I got stunned. We'll use our racial. You know, I saw a lot of people before launch complaining about the nerf to the human racial. It went from a 2-minute cooldown to a 3-minute cooldown, and then it shares a 90-second cooldown instead of a 30-second cooldown, which that part only matched for PvP. But having an on-demand stun break is really nice. I think people undervalue that a lot. Alright, yeah, this group's pretty good. I think we're going to have a good time in here. Knock on wood. How is everybody doing tonight, by the way? So this is my last mythic for the week, probably. I don't think we're going to get Siege of Borealis unlocked before I need to go to bed tonight. But other than that, got all of them done relatively painlessly. So happy about that. Happy about how they're tuned. I've actually been enjoying the dungeons a lot. I know there's been a lot of hate for them. Diogo, what's up, man? How's it going? Yeah, I know there's been a lot of hate publicly about the dungeons, but I've enjoyed them. The only complaint that I would have, and I think this is the big thing that a lot of people have, is that some of them just have way too much trash. Motherload in particular has a lot more trash that's closely enough packed that if you're in a group that's not being careful, it can be a pain. But yeah, I can honestly say that I've enjoyed all of the dungeons so far. I'm sure part of that is just that it's a change of pace. You know, we've got the new dungeons after we've been doing the Legion dungeons for 2 years, but no, I think they're really good dungeons for the most part. We'll see how the raids are. I didn't do any raid testing on the beta, so we'll see how those look, how those end up. But yeah, I like the dungeons. I think the encounter mechanics have been interesting. There's been some like pretty cool combinations of past mechanics for bosses. I've liked those. Not sure how I feel about the Azurite loot system yet. Not sure about that. I think the kind of initial thought that I have about it is that on its own, the Azurite system is pretty good, but I'm not sure how it does at replacing all of the different things that it's trying to replace. Diogo, you got really lucky this week. You got 340 on your warrior and 2 340 weapons for Fury. All of that without buying? Nice. That's some good drops. Yeah, Bree hates it because of all the shoulders. Yeah, one of the one of the hunters in our guild who we did a bunch of mythics with, I think she got like 5 different Azurite shoulders from mythic bosses without getting any other drops. That was an unbelievable run of bad good luck, I guess. I think the system has so much potential to be cool, and I like that there's like different traits that you can use. I've been picking mostly the like the non-spec specific traits so far. I don't know what you call them, the zone traits, I guess. Just because I play Arms and Fury, and they're useful for prot to some degree or another. Yeah, I think she got like every shoulder that you could get from the Mythic Dungeons. That's pretty funny. Got to the point where like we were joking that it would happen again, and then it actually did happen again. I have to say, I'm liking Arms a lot right now. What little I played it during the beta, I enjoyed it, but I've been playing it as my main spec so far just because it's tuned a lot higher than Fury. Fury's not bad, but Arms is, depending on what sims you look at, the top DPS in the game right now. And it's fun. It doesn't really feel rage-starved unless you get a bunch of executes off, but then you're getting a bunch of executes off, so that feels pretty good. I like the overpower interactiveness with Mortal Strike. It feels like it's kind of taking the place of Colossus Smash in the rotation, but not exactly the same. I don't know. It's fun. I enjoy it. Am I using Fervor of Battle? I am not, so I'm getting a lot of slams in. I'll bring in my talents so we can talk about them while we're clearing the trash here. So in the first row, I'm using War Machine. This is really good whenever things are dying a lot, which obviously happens a lot in dungeons. I would imagine in higher Mythic Plus, where things take longer to kill, and definitely in raids, Skull Splitter is probably going to be ahead. Maybe Sudden Death. Arms is really strong with Execute, so we'll see. But I think all 3 of these talents are good depending on what situation you're in. Tier 30, Stormbolt is a no-brainer if you can make use of the stun. It's the only stun we have access to, and stuns are in relatively short supply now in BFA, so kind of a no-brainer. If you don't need the stun or you can't use it for like raid target, single target raid encounters, then Double Time is probably going to be your go-to. I'm using Massacre. It seems to be the highest tuned in this tier, and tons of executes are always fun. Bounding Stride for the mobility is nice. Second Wind, if you can actually benefit from the heal, is really, really strong. I think we're about to pull here, so we'll continue going over talents after the boss fight. Dodge that charge, and step on a bunch of ticks. One more. Got it. Step on those. This is a cool and disgusting boss fight all at the same time. Alright. And let's go ahead and Blade Storm. I think I need to look this up and confirm this, but I'm pretty sure you want to use Blade Storm in single target for the rage generation. I need to get away from that tick. Alright, let's kill as many of these as we can. Got them all. These sweeping strikes. Try and get some of these down. Boss is gonna die here. All right. 2 down. 1 to go. So yeah, second win, if you can make use of the heal, 6% every second is incredibly strong. Can't always make use of it, so you just need to keep that in mind. Defensive stance is good, but I don't like the damage reduction like dealt part, but in progression raids, that's probably going to be really helpful. And then Bounding Stride is good for the mobility, but I'm going with second win right now just because I was out doing world quests earlier, and that's what I had, and I just haven't bothered to change it. 75, I really like the playstyle of Warbreaker. None of these have an impact on single target, but you can do something like this and just skyrocket to the top of the meters. So that's always fun. Warbreaker into Bladestorm. And do your best impersonation of a very squishy tank. And then in for the kill for that extra haste after Warbreaker and during the Colossus Smash window is really nice. And I've been running Dreadnought. I think anger management is better for single target, but I just like having the 2 charges of Dreadnought, and it's what I was used to from doing a lot of ARMS PvP in the pre-patch. So that's kind of what I'm sticking with for now. I am going to be doing a video guide for ARMS and for Fury over the next couple of weeks. So I'll do a little more research into what talents are actually best and not just which ones feel best. Hopefully we can all get interrupts on these worms, because that death bolt hits hard. As long as they're not left to free cast it, I think we'll be okay. Alright, let's stun you. You are immune. I should have guessed that. Executes while Sweeping Strikes is still up. Alright. Am I human? I am human. I am not a robot. But my character is also human. So it's going pretty smoothly so far. Exploding trash mobs earlier in the instance aside. But I think we only had like 3 deaths total from that, and 2 of them were mine, so I'm okay with that. I know, Top Box. Sorry, I was just joking around. Alright, Spore Collar Zancha. Alright, here we go. BFA looks cool so far. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I think it's been great so far. I mean, I do want to like preface that, you know, it's new and exciting, so that's a lot of balls to dodge. You can dodge a shockwave, you can dodge a ball. Don't we have to do something to those before they explode? 12 stacks. That's gonna hurt. Yeah. Did they change the damage scaling? You mean like the world PvP scaling? Alright. Good news is we can mount up in here. Alright, so there's a mechanic there that we missed, obviously. Let's bring up the good old dungeon journal. Utilize upheaval to safely destroy spore pods. Okay, so I think we need to aim the upheaval. Oh, you can walk over them to get rid of them too. That makes it a little bit easier. Yeah, obviously we don't want to get up to 12 stacks like we did right there, especially when it's the whole party. And Legion people were swinging. Oh, yeah, so they did it. Yes. Sorry, Top Lock. So they did a stat squish. So they brought down numbers to like the hundreds and thousands. And then they also brought down item levels. So at the end of Legion, we were like in the 900s item level. And now we're in the 300s at the start of EFA. Legion gear got swished to like in the 200s. You played from launch to Kata. Okay, so the numbers are kind of somewhere between like the end of Wrath and then the first tier of Kata. I think at the end of Wrath, people were doing about 4,000 DPS and had about like 40,000 health, if I remember correctly. This was a long time ago. And at the beginning of Kata, we were like over 100k health and doing like 20,000 DPS, something like that. Alright. So, let's see if we can do the mechanic right this time. And let's get a fake flask on. I could pre-pot for this, but I don't have very many potions. Yeah, let's just go. Anytime now. There we go. Alright. So let's try walking over one and see what happens. Oh yeah, so that gets rid of it. Wait, does it get rid of it or does it come... Does it grow more? Oh, it doesn't. Okay, so let's guide the upheaval in this direction. Yeah, I think that's what we're supposed to do.
Beware.
Sacrifice some damage to take those out.
Beware.
Ooh, I got cleansed somehow. I'm not sure how that happened, but I'll take it. Maybe the healer just had it ready to go. Let's get the upheaval over here. Oh, that's gonna hurt. Take one more, and then get back in. Take a couple stacks here. Alright. Drop mine right here. And leap back into the boss. Going much better this time. Do I PvE or PvP? I do both. Yeah, so I was doing a lot more PvP on stream at the end of Legion just because that's mostly what there was to do. But I enjoy both. I'm in a heroic raiding guild. Alright, upheaval, we'll drop it right here. So I do raid, I do a lot of Mythic Plus, and I do PvP as well. So a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Alright, boss down.
I've never seen that kind of corruption before. It might be connected to
Alright, here we go. Heading toward the last boss now. Welcome to the stream, everybody who's joining us now. We're here in Mythic Underrot. This is the last Mythic that I have to do for the week that I have unlocked. I haven't finished unlocking Siege of Borealis yet, and I'm not really that close to unlocking King's Rest. Obviously, be the other way around if you're Horde, but that's where we are right now. So we're finishing up the Underrot. Let's avoid those tentacles. I have mail. I have mail from the auction house. Nice. Alright.
Alignment failing. Mother not responding.
Orange Tomato, thank you for the follow. Really appreciate it. So right now we are just doing our best to get geared up in BFA. Oh, nice. You can stun these guys. Seems like a good time for a Blade Storm. I should have Warbreakered first. That's my mistake. Guess I can do it now. Now that I've used up all my AoE abilities. Whirlwind. Can execute. Man, Blade Storm is really strong with a lot of mobs. Even without the Warbreaker buff up. See, Mom, I can execute here. Let's get Sweeping Strikes again. Alright. That pull could have been worse, I guess. Pulling this guy back. Hopefully those worms don't pop up. I think we had a bunch of people try to interrupt that. Alright, let's make sure I don't face pull something. These guys have a huge hitbox. Look at that. Stand all the way back here and still hit him. That's something I see a lot of people not taking advantage of, is that some mobs have absolutely enormous hitboxes. Always something to keep an eye out. If you can stand like 8 or 10 yards away from a box's actual character model and still hit them, you just give your team a lot more room to spread out when it's necessary. You do want to be careful and don't stand too far away so you start missing auto attacks. But Arms or Fury right now, both are pretty good. Arms is stronger, and that's what I'm playing right now. I started playing Arms initially because I had a 350 weapon, and then my next best two-hander was like 266. So it was an easy choice to play Arms at that point over Fury. And then, yeah, I've just been really liking the way that everything works for Arms right now. So the fact that I enjoy both and then Arms is stronger makes it a pretty easy decision for me. Arms is tuned it's like 2,000 or 3,000 DPS ahead of Fury. The last time I checked the sims, Arms was the top simming spec in the game, and Fury is like middle, like high-end middle of the pack. So both are viable, but Arms is stronger currently. And I think both are very fun, so. I guess all that to say, Arms is stronger, but if you hate it and you love Fury, you're not really gimping yourself that much by playing Fury. Fury can be stronger in some situations. Like if you can take advantage of the built-in self-healing that it has, like that's pretty nice. I've been running it a lot for world quests and stuff, but for the mythics at least, we're going Arms right now.
Planetary infection imminent.
All right, here we go. Probably should have held Sweeping Strikes till after Blade Storm. Let's mount up.
Containment priority.
New to the game, you man Fury, so arms worth learning if you haven't reached the full potential of Fury. I think it's always worth learning all the specs that your class has, and especially in a case right now like where arms is stronger, it makes sense to figure it out. If you love Fury though, if you want to keep playing it, then by all means keep playing it. But arms is stronger, and I think both are fun specs. So yeah, my advice would be pick a class over a spec, at least for your main character. If you've got alts, then it's fine to like only focus on one spec. But I think you're limiting yourself in the long run if you only play one spec on your main character. Alright, here we go. Last boss of Mythic Underrot. Talking about the tactics. This is mostly an ad fight. Mostly an ad fight because you can't actually damage the boss directly. You have to kill ads. In that case, is Prot ever good? Prot is good. It's not the strongest of the tank specs in anything, but it's also not the weakest right now. It's got good utility. I guess technically it's weakest in the self-healing category, but you block so many attacks as Prot that it kind of balances that out. I think it's definitely worth having even if it's just for having instant queues when it's taking 2 hours to get into a dungeon as a DPS. If you're new to the game, period, like you haven't really played in any previous expansions, then I would say focus on learning, focus on getting great at one spec, whether that's Arms or Fury, and then focus on learning the other ones as well, because especially for warriors, there are a lot of differences. I mean, sure, the resource with Rage is the same for all three specs, but the way that they spend that resource and generate it is very different. And I mean, obviously, you're looking at DPS versus tank for Prot versus Fury and Arms, so I think it's worth learning all the specs though, for sure. Let's see. Yep. So for this boss, you do damage to him to... Okay, I can clear out some of this stuff right now.
Beware.
You do damage to him, and then once you fill up his rage bar, he will spawn some ads, and killing those ads is what actually deals damage to the boss.
Beware.
So, just like that. Alright, let's clear as much as we can here. That didn't actually clear very much.
Beware.
That's unfortunate. Hope we can keep this area relatively clear. Alright, there's another ad right here, right next to the boss.
Beware.
Let's go ahead and pop sweeping strikes. We'll dodge that. Nice.
Beware.
That's a lot of rotting spores coming in. Let's just try and take him out. Get heroic throw in there. Alright, so last ad should be up. Where is it? Right here.
Beware.
I was totally holding down control. Okay, I'll leap over to the boss. Alright. Kill this one, and that should be it. Alright. Nicely done. Let's see what we got here. No loot. That's okay. I got a decent amount of loot this week.
I'll see what I can do from inside Uldir to stop this corruption.
Alright.
Get help. I'll see what I can
So,
do from inside
let's
Uldir
go ahead and
to
hearth.
stop this corruption.
So, I'm up to 334. Got nothing in this dungeon.
Get help. I'll see what I can do.
Braun is just going to spam us until we leave. Alright. So I'm up to 334 in the week. There are technically 2 more mythic dungeons, but I can't do either of them yet. So what I'm going to do is actually check my mailbox because that's an auction sell. Alright, so what I'm going to do is work on opening up what's it called? Siege of Borealis. So the quest that I'm on for that one is, I believe, Tol Dagor. So if anyone in the stream wants to run heroic Tol Dagor, I'm going to tank it right now. So let me know, and if anyone does, I can open up a group in the group finder, and we can do that together. Like I got a mythic sword and shield, but my offhand for Fury is still, well, it's actually better than it was because there was a quest up today for that. Not that I'm complaining about having good stuff to tank with. Don't really have anything to put in the scrapper. Do have some stuff to put in the bank, so we'll go take care of that before we queue. Just real quick. So if you're in the stream and you want in, hit me up. I'm going to go ahead and advertise in the guild as well. And we'll see if we can get some people in here. So I am now saved to all of the mythics that I have unlocked. That limits the gearing options that we have left for this first week. There's some world quests up. None of them really give stuff that would probably be an upgrade. I don't even know how many gear world quests there are up right now. Pants. Stuff would have to Titan Forge. Ooh, that cloak actually. That cloak would be a straight upgrade, especially with haste. Stream Cookie, I am on Windrunner US. Let's see, those boots, no. That one cloak would be. Maybe I'll go do that one later. How long is that up for? 21 hours. Got plenty of time for that one. Alright. I'll get you in here, Soul. Okay, we got someone who's under the item level, but I definitely trust to be able to run it, so if we can get a healer, we can do this. You have to work. Have fun. Thanks, Stream Cookie. You have a good time at work. Alright. We'll just bring Joe in and then we'll advertise it. Tol Dagor. Heroic. Need healer for walk in. No minimum item level. And I have the flight path. Don't think we have anyone else that can heal online, so if anyone in the stream wants to heal, it would be greatly appreciated. If not, or if you all play Horde, I totally understand. We'll see if we get anyone. You will be your horde? No worries, Bob. Thanks for the offer. Guess we do have one more. We got a couple people who could heal, but if they're not responding, then obviously they can't. Alright, so working on unlocking Siege of Boralus. What are you guys working on in WoW tonight? Are you even working on anything in WoW? Are you even subbed? Oh, I did have something to go on the scrapper. Oh well. Not getting any bites. I don't think we can actually queue for it. Kingdom ends at your job right now. Nice. Thank you for joining the stream on work. Try not to get in trouble for that. I appreciate the views. Definitely appreciate having people watching. But I would hate for you to get in trouble for watching my stream. Having a ton of fun with arms. Always top damage. Hopefully we won't get nerfed. I think if they do nerf arms, it's not going to be severely. Hopefully they'll just bring other specs up to the level of arms. But it is a lot of fun right now. The burst AoE is just nuts. Dropping a Warbreaker and then going straight into Blade Storm and then hopping out with sweeping strikes. It's a lot of fun. It's very satisfying too because you do have to put in a little bit of work to get your damage out of it. It's not just totally face roll. Well, all right, we got a healer. The stone. So, we will be doing heroic Tol Dagor for the Jaina quest. Sorry, spoilers for the Mythic Dungeon unlock quest line. I guess if you're watching a World of Warcraft stream, you probably know that Jaina is a character in BFA, so that just mentioning her name isn't really a spoiler. So, we'll be doing this dungeon on Heroic. I'm already saved to it on Mythic, and I think you can do the quest on any difficulty. Probably could have done it on normal. It doesn't specify, so. But we'll do it on Heroic. Maybe we'll get an upgrade. Get some of these people in the group some upgrades, maybe. Yeah, I just ruined the X-Pack for you. Yes. Sorry. Knowing that Jaina is a character. It's especially impressive that I ruined that for you because you're a lot farther along in the storyline than I am. I know you're just teasing. I have to say some of the landscapes and just the scenery in this expansion is just gorgeous. It's a cool change from lots of like the alien and then demon theme that we had so much of in WoD and Legion. Like, look at that. Lighthouse sending out its beam to the sea. The architecture on the buildings is super cool. Totally fits with like the seafaring folks. Alright, let's get these summons going. And while we're summoning, thank you all for joining us tonight. I'm happy to see each and every one of you here in the stream. We are working on gearing up. part of that right now, we are working on unlocking the Mythic Dungeons. The last Mythic Dungeons. I've done all the ones that I can so far this week. And overall, I thought they were a lot of fun. There weren't any that I hated. I would agree with the sentiment that I've seen a lot of places that there's a little bit too much trash in some of them, but it didn't feel like an overwhelming amount. Oh, this is probably in Mythic. We're gonna need to hop out. Yeah. Gonna need to hop out and jump back in. Convert to heroic, and now we should be good to jump back in. That's my bad. Alright, once everyone gets in here, we'll start pulling. We can take a moment and I'll bring up the talents that I've been running for Prot. So I like Into the Fray for dungeons, especially if you have at least one melee. Getting that extra haste is really nice and really helps with the lower stats in general. Bounding Stride is great for the mobility. It's already a strength of Prot, and then this makes it even better. Unstoppable Fury makes Avatar even more awesome than it already is. Getting every other global cooldown, a Thunderclap, really, really nice to have. Bolster is really nice for Last Stand. Getting basically permanent shield block during Last Stand, and then bring it down to a 2-minute cooldown, which is also lowered by Anger Management. Is it still on Mythic? No, it's not. No. Says heroic for me. Stormbolt, I like having the single target stun in addition to Shockwave, but there's definitely a case to be made for Rumbling Earth, especially in dungeons where you can reliably proc that. And then I like Booming Voice for Demo Shout. It's already really strong, and then getting that extra burst of rage when you use it is really, really nice. Overall, I like where Prot is right now. It's in a good spot. It's not the best it's ever been, but it's fun and it's workable. I did not mean to shield wall there. That's okay. This is kind of a lot of mobs. I like Prot's AoE toolkit. Thunderclap and Revenge are really cool abilities to use. I like that there's a little bit of decision making in using Revenge versus Ignore Pain, because they are basically competing for rage. You have enough rage baseline to use shield block, and that's your main source of mitigation. And then Ignore Pain if you need a little bit of extra mitigation. Revenge if you need the damage or threat. I like the way those interact with each other. The only complaint that I really have about Prot, well, yeah, the only complaint that I really have is Ignore Pain being on the GCD. It just feels awful. Trying to use it and then not being able to, and then not being able to do anything else for another second and a half. It's really not enjoyable gameplay to me. But that's apparently a hill the Blizzard is willing to die on, so I won't say anything further for now. The quality of life thing that I'd love to see would have been the bracers from Legion going into a talent. It feels a little bit funny that Prot is the only tank that doesn't have a source of self-healing. Now, I definitely understand the flavor thing. You know, all tanks are different. They're supposed to be different. But when every other tank has some sort of self-sustainability and then as protection, you don't.
Beware.
Feels weird, at least. Maybe not bad, but it feels weird. It would be nice to at least have that choice, even if it was competing with other good talents. Could opt into that. But that's more of a quality of life thing. I think Prot's toolkit for mitigating damage is strong enough that you're not really hampered by that. Because anytime you're running protection, you're going to have a healer with you. Whether that's in a raid or a dungeon. Let's try and pull these mobs off the healer there. And let's go ahead and pop Last Stand. Am I targeting the boss? I'm not. get out of that. And I've got Avatar again, so let's get a bunch of...
Beware.
Oh my goodness. That was bad. Walked right into that stun. Alright, let's get a rallying cry. You have victory rush.
Beware.
That was closer than it needed to be. But we got through it. Do I PvP much? I dabble. I do a lot more random battlegrounds than rated stuff. My highest ever rating is 1870. And then I finished last season at 1850 in 2s. Oh, the healer crashed. That would be why we almost wiped. Well, I'm glad we were able to stay alive there. Alright. There we go. Yeah, I like PvP. I'm certainly not the best at it, but I enjoy it, and I think I do have decent enough experience. Probably going to be doing more PvP this expansion than I did in Legion. I got some friends who really like PvP who are getting back into the game, so that should be fun. Alright, let's pull all these crocs.
Explain to me why you haven't flooded the lower levels and drowned these squabbling rats.
My apologies.
Well, Avatar.
By men will restore order soon.
You'd better be right, or your replacement's first duty will be to watch you drown with the rest of this scum.
Ooh. Better pop something there. Maybe I should held off a little bit before pulling the thug. All right. One thing to note about this dungeon that we discovered the other day is there is friendly fire with the cannons. Now I've heard that there's not any friendly fire, that it just knocks friendly targets back on heroic and normal, but there is definitely friendly fire in Mythic. And actually, more than half the people in this group, we were having some fun with that. Alright, let's see. We need to go across here. Let's pop Avatar because we can. Yeah, friendly fire is only on Mythic. That's good. It would be way too easy to troll people on random dungeons. If you're in Mythic, at least you have to be invited. Although that's inviting a lot of abuse for Mythic Plus. I wouldn't be surprised if that the friendly fire aspect of that gets nerfed or gets removed entirely before too long. All right, quest mob is still upstairs. Let's stun here. Can I spell reflect any of this? I doubt it. Zotix, what's going on, man? How are you? We were just working on gearing up. Opened up the stream with doing Mythic Underrot. So I've done all the mythics that I have access to currently, and now we're working on unlocking Siege of Borealis. Not sure if that's going to get completed tonight. We'll see if it does. Let's pull some of these mobs so that no one else does. But we're working on unlocking it so I can at least get it done next week. Yeah, just working on the gearing up process. Just learning Warrior and WoW. It's your first time tanking? Nice. How are you liking it? Did we just pull the boss? We just pulled the boss. That's interesting. How did that happen? Oh, this is gonna hurt. I don't know if I... Nope, didn't get... Wow. How? I don't think we saved the pull in time. Can I actually lost this? I don't think I can. Well, I'm gonna die anyway. Well, I don't know how the boss got pulled from, like, all the way over here. Must have been some AoE going through the walls. You know, you'd think if they're going to put a wall up, you shouldn't be able to pull bosses through it. You'd think, right? It's not bad. Gonna have to sit down and learn arms that you'll be able to tank for your guild and raids. You need to invest time and learn arms for that. Yeah, arms is really good right now. I'm gonna put out a guide for it maybe later this week, next week at the latest. I want to get it out before Mythic Plus and raids are out. But I've been playing arms as my main spec and really enjoying it. It's good damage and it's good fun as well. Level to Fury. Yeah, I leveled to Fury too. I think both are good, but Arms is definitely better. And if you care about min-maxing your character, then it's definitely want to go for Arms. Did someone... Sounded like someone pulled. Thought I heard combat noise. Have to learn the rotation fully. Yeah. There's a learning curve, that's for sure. So I guess you probably can pull him through the wall. I mean, he's standing right there, so let's try to not do that again. Stun these guys. Let's see. Doesn't Arms lack a self-heal? So, mostly yes. Obviously it has Victory Rush, so if you get a kill in, then you can heal. Let's pull this Arsonist back, just make sure we don't accidentally get him with a bunch of other stuff. You can talent into Second Wind, which is if you don't take damage for 5 seconds, you start healing for 6% of your health every 1 second. So if you can make use of that, that's actually one of the strongest self-heals in the game. It's just rare that you'll be in a raid or dungeon encounter where you're not taking damage for chunks of like 5 seconds at a time. But it doesn't have a baked-in self-heal to the extent that Fury does, where like one of your rotational abilities that you're using every third or fourth global cooldown heals you for 5% of your health. So, but on the other hand, Arms has stronger defensive abilities. Die by the Sword is really strong, especially if you accidentally pull aggro on stuff. So, it is what it is. What eye level am I now? I'm up to 330. Well, 334 in my arms gear, and then my my tank weapon and shield are a little bit lower than my DPS weapon. So 334, 333, right on the border there. Had some luck with drops. And there's so many neutral mobs that it's a little disorienting with my UI in here. Let's try and lock this guy down. No more bubbles. Yeah, so I'm up to low 330s, low mid 330s, I guess. Got some good stuff from Mythic Dungeons. Got super lucky with a two-handed weapon. I found a two-handed strength polearm on the auction house for 200,000 gold on like the second day that I was 120. Like compared to what all the other 350s are going for on my server, I would have expected that to go for 2 million, and I got it for 200k. So I was pretty pleased with that. Someone interrupt that. Barely got it. Arms always needs a healer. Definitely in PvP situations. If you're going to do arena as arms, you want to have a healer with you. Unless you're doing something like arms ret and then just trying to burst people down and getting a little bit off healing. But you want to have a healer with you for sure. Stun all these guys. Are they all immune? Alright, we'll pop Avatar. And we lost that. This should be line of sighting it. Interrupt the fear. Alright. Bobby Hallis. Not sure who that was. Okay. Healer needs mana. We'll let him drink for a second. He came from Feral Druid video. Seems like I chose tank. I'm just tanking this one to try and get some stuff done quickly. But arms is my main spec right now. The boss's brother. Interesting. Guess they're being held in the same prison. Should stream BGs. I have been streaming BGs. Well, I was at the end of Legion. This is actually the first stream I've done in BFA. The launch was pretty busy. Had some other things going on. Got a lot of playtime, but didn't really make any time to stream. But here we are now. Yes, we will definitely continue to stream BGs. I'll try to dedicate at least one of my streams a week to just doing BGs. There's a lot of other things to do right now to get geared up, so focusing more on that at the moment. Stun this guy. And moving on. How's everyone enjoying the expansion so far? Now there's a lot to do. There's a lot to get done in the first couple of weeks for sure. But that's part of the fun, isn't it? I have definitely been enjoying myself. Is BFA alt friendly, or should you wait for catch-up mechanics? What's unlocked with your alts when you reach 120? I think so. There's some information on Wowhead. You'd probably have to Google around a bit. It's gonna be more alt friendly than. Oh, the quest mob I need is in here. Cool. Quest mob. It's more alt friendly than Legion was at the start, just due to the nature of, you know, not needing legendaries, and then how the Azurite neck works. So, like, you have one artifact that works for all of your specs. It doesn't like persist across your characters, but you don't need to worry about leveling up multiple artifacts on your main character. It's just there, and that's gonna pull the whole room. That's okay. We'll gather them all up. Avatar. Stun him. That's on cooldown, isn't it? Let's get Spell Reflect up. And now I can stun. We'll pop Blast Stand. So yeah, it's more alt-friendly at the beginning than Legion was, but maybe less than other expansions. I think most of the things that are character unlocked will be unlocked for your alt characters. I know world quests are. I believe like the different things that you unlock through the war campaign are also unlocked. So that would be things like, was that the quest mob? Is it just in the corner here? Is it in a different room? Maybe it's in a different room. Oh, it's upstairs still. Gotcha. Yeah, so I think like if you unlock the dungeons, that should be account-wide. From what I've read, though you may want to verify that before you start leveling up a bunch of alts. Yeah, the big thing is just going to be like, how much time do you have to invest to do the things that you need to do to gear up? Like, do you have time to do world quests and all the mythics on however many characters you want to play? If you do have time, then that's just go for it, I say. But if you don't have time, to me, it's not worth sacrificing time on my main to play an alt. Am I doing those mythics? I've actually done all the mythics for the week. The exception is Siege of Borealis and King's Rest. Working on unlocking Siege of Borealis right now, but I've done the other, I think, 8 mythics. Did the last one on stream right before we started, so we are working on unlocking the additional ones. So when you unlock Pathfinder on your main, should you spend time farming rep and stuff with your alts? Yeah, I think there's... Well, I guess if you unlock Pathfinder, that means your reps are revered on all of them. So if you don't care about getting too exalted, or if there's not any rewards that you want on your main, then yeah, it's fine to move on to alts at that point. The one like piece of advice I would give is just make sure that you're getting like your mythics and your emissaries and everything done on your main, just to try and stay on top of that. Honor-bound rep is a grind. Yeah, that's the 7th Legion equivalent, right? For Horde. It's a bit of a grind. I think, like, overall, it's actually... Like, just the rep from World Quest is going to be a little bit faster than... than the other ones, but you're starting so much further behind. You're starting at basically like neutral friendly rather than halfway through honored from leveling. Alright, let's stun these fools. Cooldown on Shockwave keeps throwing me off.
Explode, we'll all be dust.
Let's get out of there. Let's get out of there. Gracie found the use of the inscription contracts to be helpful. Yeah, I've been using the Champions of Azeroth contract. Let's do this. I don't know if you're supposed to be able to do this, but I found out you can actually drop the barrels like outside of the room, and they they don't despawn. They will explode and they'll damage part of the room. Hopefully I'm not streaming what gets considered an exploit. Cool. Got the quest on him. Alright. Let's get away from these barrels. Those are all going to explode. So let's just proactively leap over to the other side of the room.
Beware.
Yeah, I see the barrels are coming in from outside the room, but we do have a safe spot here. I think what you're supposed to do is just physically pick up the barrels and move them away.
Beware.
Oh, that one got lit up. There's only so much you can actually do to move them. Let's pop commanding shout. Try and save some people.
Beware.
Oh, this last one's gonna hurt.
Beware.
Let's have to cross the room. The boss is gonna die. There we go. Hey, I got a green. What do I think of Fury's damage? Fury's damage is alright.
Beware.
I love the playstyle of Fury, but I like Arms almost as much. Not quite as much, but almost as much, and it's just tuned better right now. It's a bit stronger. If history is any indication, then Fury will catch up and pass Arms sometime around the middle of the expansion.
Beware.
We'll see how that actually works out with lower secondary stats across the board in BFA. But Fury scales a lot better. Arms typically starts out a lot stronger. You have a lot higher base damage on your abilities, but then Fury scales with stats so much better. We'll see about that. Anselmina, sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. Use your free character boost in Tauren, and a few days later find out about High Mountain Tauren. Aw, man. That's a bummer. Alright, we got the cannon here too. Yeah, I actually have a Lightforged Draenei Priest that I've been, well, I was working on leveling. That one's kind of taking a back seat right now. Priest is actually the only class that I didn't have up to 110. in Legion. Probably will end up being my last 120 in BFA. But I got up to around level 70. I don't remember exactly what level. Alright, here we go. Last trash before the boss.
Beware. 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 Beware.
Yeah, High Mountain Tauren look pretty cool though, I will say. If I was still playing Horde these days, I probably would have changed my Druid to a High Mountain Tauren. Those antlers in the forms look pretty cool. Alright, let's kill a boss. Let's see where that cannon's going.
Beware.
Right across the middle. Alright. Did I successfully take that one? I don't think I did. Heartstopper Venom. Alright, that's the movement mechanic.
Beware.
Alright, let's get Avatar up. I keep forgetting to use this. Stand up.
Beware.
Oh, that's gonna hurt. Better pop everything now. Is the healer dead? Oh, the healer is dead. Okay. Well, this is probably gonna be a wipe then.
Enjoy your last meal. Consider yourselves rehabilitated.
Alright. Let's see here. Let's pop the fake flask again. Alright, this time without the death.
So to return for your execution. I've been eager to try these rounds on living.
Let's pop Avatar earlier this time.
Beware. Beware.
I'll take this first one.
Beware. Beware.
Oh, I might take that. Okay, I didn't take the first one, so I can't take the second one.
I've been eager to try these rounds on living.
Moved too much and got stunned.
Beware. Beware.
I'm just about out of defensives here. Yep.
Bullet.
Hopefully we have the damage to finish the boss off.
Beware.
Maybe.
Beware.
Come on, Soul, you can do it. Nice. Alright, got that quest done.
It seems Lady Ashfane will have an opening for a new overseer after all. Now that we have the prison under our control and the keys in our possession, we can begin securing the Azerite and releasing the hostages.
Alright, let's see what we got here. I think I have like 2 of those already. Oh no, I have the Harbor Master. I don't know what traits this has. Meticulous Scheming. Your spells and abilities have a chance to grant you Meticulous Scheming for 8 seconds. It's a haste buff. And then shield one. I'll take this portal to Borealis. Alright, let's go turn in this quest and see what the next one is.
There's the brave hero. See? I told you our friend would be just fine. Right. Let's get this.
Hopefully, if you guys are watching the stream right now, you don't want, you don't mind story spoilers. But I am doing the Siege of Borealis unlock quest line, so if you want to avoid spoilers, you may want to look away and mute your speakers for now.
Enough evidence to put him away for life. But since he's dead, I guess he doesn't need to worry about that anymore. Ah, here we are. Oh, this is bad. This is very bad. They shipped her off to Fate's End. No wonder Ashfane couldn't get her people to go. That place is terrifying.
I like how Talia is standing in 2 places here.
Finally, some action.
Should we get a screenshot of that? Yeah, let's get a screenshot of that. That's kind of fun. Is Flint? No, Flynn's not also in here.
Ahoy!
Nice little chunk of Azerite. Let's go back to Lady Catherine Proudmoore in Borealis.
Not how I choose to go out, that's for sure. Please extend.
That other guy's just got a world quest for herbs that I don't want to turn in because I'm using my herbs.
We have to hold out hope that Lady Jaina
All
can
right.
still be alive.
The island is called Fate's End, Taylor, not Fate's Hope.
So we'll go ahead and fly back over there
Awful place.
to the Proudmoore Keep.
Placing wages now, are we? For shame. Whatever would Cyrus say.
Flynn, you know what I mean. For Lady Catherine's sake, I pray you're wrong.
Feels kind of weird that there are flight paths within the capital city, but it would be a mess without that. It would be a mess trying to navigate it without that. Like, imagine if there was a flight path from, like, the Park District to the Dwarven District in Stormwind, or like the top of Thunderbluff to the bottom of Thunderbluff. It'd be kind of funny. I appreciate the convenience of it, and I like that it allows them to have a really amazingly designed city. So, it's just kind of funny. Do I plan on raiding? Yes, I will be doing at least heroic raiding. So we're working on gearing up toward that end. I guess Lady Proudmoore is in a different area. I guess she's not really Lady Proudmoore. She's Admiral Proudmoore. Show her the proper respect.
Champion, what have you found? Where was Jaina?
Your daughter was taken to Fate's End.
Ask no favors. Fate's End is an island off the coast of Stormsong. The worst criminals and traitors are taken there, never to return. Only the Tide Sages can approach it safely, and Ashfane would have had no trouble compelling them to bring Jaina to its shores. She was, after all, acting on my orders.
Alright. So...
By wind and by fine
Stormsong Valley.
He is still a loyal and devout tide sage. I know he will help us.
Guess we can take this other flight path back over there.
With all speed, find my daughter.
Thank you all for joining us tonight on the stream. We are just working on unlocking Mythic Siege of Borealis. I don't know how many more quests I have in this quest line. I haven't done it before, obviously. So I'm not sure if we're gonna switch weapons out here. So I'm not sure if we're gonna get it done in time to actually run the dungeon tonight. I would guess not based on the time, but we'll see. Jump down. And let's see if that's like actually up a cliff or something. Okay, so I guess I'll take the Tide Cross flight path. Lengthy quest chain. Yeah, so it starts out with you going to Freehold. Just the outdoor world area, not the dungeon. So you start out in Freehold, and then the second quest, or like the second main part, you have to run Tol Dagor, which is like the prison dungeon. So we just did that. That's why I was in that dungeon. And then for this one, we're going up to Stormsong Valley. So if you haven't done this quest line and you're planning on playing through the Alliance one, we'll... Obviously, there's going to be spoilers because I'm streaming it, but the goal is basically we're trying to free Jaina. When you show up on Kultiris, Jaina is taken away as a traitor for letting her father die all the way back in Warcraft 3 in the expansion, and so she's taken away and arrested, sentenced to death, and now we have gone through the quest lines. We have united the Isles, or the peoples of Kultiris, and we have changed her mother's mind. Her mother is the leader of the Kultirians, and we are trying to rescue Jaina before her execution, essentially. So that is what we are up to tonight. Maybe we'll find some herbs along the way.
Have enthralled lost sailors and threatened to overrun Tidecross. Halt their advance.
No worries, you're working Horde side. Nice to see Alliance side. Yeah, I'm going to do Horde eventually. My Paladin is still a Horde character. Don't know if I'm going to stick with him on the Horde or if he'll come over eventually. But I do plan on at least questing through the zones and seeing the story firsthand. But sometimes it's nice to just watch it too. You get to see some of it through the war campaign, but it's definitely not the same. Alright, here we go. Brother Pike.
I am listening.
Jaina Proudmoore was sent to Fate's End and her mother wishes to save her. Then we must act at once if we were to have any hope of saving her life. Ooh, we get 2 quests, it looks like. To go collect motes of Storm Surge from defeated elementals. And then collect a bunch of ritual things.
You must gather what I require.
So,
A life is at
let's go do that. What's this swirly here? Alright. Strike in, get interrupt in. So we're here to gather up what we need for a ritual that will presumably allow us to rescue Jaina. kind of cool. Alright, these guys can drop all the items, so let's pull a couple of them. Alright, got that done. Now we just need to finish off the elementals. There's a treasure chest. There was. I'm probably phased for this quest. I'm gonna get phased away from this herb too. Nope. Alright, so now we just need 4 more elementals to absorb. This one's down. 2 more to go. There's one right here. And just one more now. Of course, there aren't any more spawned. There we go. Take this one out. Alright, now where do we go to meet Brother Pike? Up by the entrance to the instance. We'll try to leap across. Oh, it's on cooldown. Neat. There we go. Actually kind of running backwards through the instance. That's a lot of swirlies. The instance itself does not want us to save Jaina. Alright, here we are, Brother Pike. You know, it occurs to me now that I got all the way up here that I probably just could have used my Flight Master's whistle. Oh well. Alright, now we need to do the Shrine of the Storms.
Do not forget the fallen.
Alright, I'm going to drop group, and then we'll see. Anyone on the stream, if you play Alliance, would you like to do a heroic Shrine of the Storms right now? I'm probably going to tank queue for it, so if you want to get a heroic in, if you need gear, or if you just want to participate, you should be able to get in real quick. And I'm going to ask in guild as well. This is part of the quest line that ultimately ends up in unlocking the Siege of Borealis instance. And let's get the sword and board. I guess the flail and board. Alright, so let's get you back in here. Alright, stream, I'm going to give you a minute or so to respond if anyone wants to come in. Let me know in the chat if you do, and I will open up an instance group. And I'm going to get some water. I will be back in 1 minute. Alright, we're back. Looking like it's just the two of us. So I'm going to go ahead and queue us up for Heroic Shrine of the Storm. I doubt we're going to have to turn in this quest outside here. Oh, cool. We're bringing in a full guild group. I was not reading guild chat. Alright. Well, this will make it a little bit easier, a little bit more enjoyable. Thank you, Soul, for reading the guild chat. And Thurahane, thank you for the YouTube subscription. Really appreciate it. Really helps us out. By the way, everyone who has subscribed on the YouTube channel, thank you so much for your support. We passed 1,000 subscribers over the last week. We're up over 1,100 now. It blows my mind that many people are subscribing to my YouTube channel, and I thank each and every one of you for the support and for just joining us on part of this journey. It is much, much appreciated. Alright, as soon as we get another person up here to the stone, which of course is off in the middle of nowhere, we can get those summons going. Let me take a minute to soak in the scenery here. It's one of my favorite things to do in a new expansion when there's new zones, is try to just get like the big picture of everything. I mean, look at that. Those mountains. I love the contrast of like the wetness, but then also the farmland. I guess it's not really contrast. It's not the right word. Ooh, this is gonna hurt. It's becoming difficult to breathe. What just happened? I don't know what just happened. I'm gonna die, apparently. That's what just happened. Wow. Okay. Hopefully I can get to my corpse. Well, that was interesting. Apparently, you can jump down into the instance, but then you're not in the instance. Let's see if we can retrieve my corpse here. That is one of the downsides of going through and checking out the scenery. You find some really fun things, and you find some really fun places to die. So if you can hear me, don't jump down there. Send you back to the graveyard. Well, that's interesting. I think it's supposed to do that, and it didn't because I was in combat. Alright, I'm going to have to drop down and try to res where I'm not in combat, and then I'll get ported back up, I hope. Maybe we can get this reported to Blizzard, because this is... seems like it shouldn't be happening. Seems like it shouldn't be intended. Alright, where's my corpse? Straight down. Res, accept. Stay out of combat. There we go. They should get me teleported out. That was a strange and interesting experience there. Neat discovery, I guess.
I have many, many wares.
Alright, let's get something going. Alright, make sure everybody got their summons. Like you can not hit anything with Thunderclap and still get a shield slam reset.
I have many lucky do's, you like.
There's the one. Oh, alright, we're all here. Didn't see our healer coming because I think he has war mode on still.
The shrine must be cleansed of Lord Stormsong's
Alright, here we
evil
go.
heroes.
Start with a good old-fashioned line of sight pull.
Dark presence watches us even now.
One more initiate. Alright, they're all done. All gone. On to the next group. Pull all of the little mobs, because why not?
Beware.
How else are we going to stun 15 things at once?
Beware. Beware.
Alright, here we go. Can't interrupt that. Alright, let's throw up a skull here. I guess we need to kill the Templar first, huh? There we go. Funny how everything goes faster when you do the mechanics.
Beware.
Was it just me, or did the skeleton just drop down and pull the water elemental here?
Beware.
It's kind of funny.
Beware.
I was in a heroic with one of my friends the other day who's playing on his mage, and his water elemental turned around and hard casted its water bolt at a mob that we were not in combat with. That was fun. Oh, it got knocked back.
Beware.
That makes sense. Not as bad as that water elemental the other day. It was in the Motherlode too, so it pulled like 6 extra mobs. Alright, well, let's just pull these guys back. Clump them up, make sure we don't get the pat.
Beware.
Let's get some defensives up. We got them, we got anger management. Might as well use them. What's the DPS add-on? The DPS meter add-on that I use is called Details. I used Recount like forever, for probably 10 years. But I was running into a lot of bugs with Recount at the end of Legion. Yeah, I was running into a ton of bugs with Recount at the end of Legion, and updated it a couple of times and just couldn't get it resolved. I think the biggest one was like it wasn't consistently allowing me to reset my damage meters, so I switched to Details and really like it. Yeah, I tried using Skada before. I mean, like back in Mists. I don't know. They're all kind of the same. I just didn't like the layout that Skada had as much, and Details is pretty cool. I'm sure a lot of the features that Details has, Skada has as well. How do the mastery changes feel to me for arms? I appreciate the mastery change. I have a decent amount of mastery on my gear, so it was a little bit of a buff overall for me, even though it was overall supposed to be kind of neutral. So I did see a little bit of an uptick in damage. Arms' mastery is pretty passive, though. It's just like extra damage on the abilities that you want to be using a lot anyway. So, feel-wise, I don't know. I'm for it. If it takes a stat that's like brokenly undertuned and makes it relevant, then I am all for that.
How dare you sully this holy place with your
Slash push.
I call upon the surging waters. Arise. And
Yeah, I think the goal of the changes to arms were to keep it like relatively DPS neutral. It's still one of the strongest specs in the game right now, and then just to make sure that mastery isn't stupidly undertuned like it was, to the point where like there's a screenshot going around of someone's stat weights and mastery is worth like 0.08 compared to like the next lowest stat was versatility at like a 1.1. I mean, that's just that's inexcusable tuning, and Blizzard needed to fix that. They should have fixed it in beta, but you know, better late than never. Do I have any tips, tricks for playing Fury? Do I like it? I love Fury. Fury is my favorite spec in the game right now. The tips or tricks for it, not that much for Fury specifically. I am going to put out like a DPS guide for Fury. Some general things that you can do as a warrior, I would say make a heroic leap to your cursor macro. That is one of the most useful things that you can do, and it makes life much, much easier. So if I want to, let's say, a leap over here, now all I have to do is hit my heroic leap, keybind, and I go there instantly. Really, really handy to have. You can do some cool stuff as Fury, though. You can do some really cool stuff. Dude, we got some ads. That's fine, because the boss died.
Storm Song has twisted this sacred place. We must press on.
You know what kills you? Survival is so much fun, but easy mode BM spec is better. Yeah, BM is BM is really strong right now. It's not as easy mode as it has been in past expansions. But I mean, all things considered, it probably either the other hunter specs should get buffed quite a bit, or BM should be taken in a little bit. Because generally, the easiest spec for a class should not be the strongest. Because otherwise, what's the point of playing the more challenging specs, you know? Slash push, yeah. It would be funny if that was an actual emote. You always make a custom one. I wonder if it's not because push is like a coding thing too, like if you're pushing a commit. Yeah, I'm totally fine with there being like specs that are easier to play. I'm totally fine with those specs being competitive, but they shouldn't be the strongest, right? If you have a spec that has like a simple rotation and is very forgiving, and then the same class has another spec that's very difficult and unforgiving, the more difficult one should reward you with higher damage if you execute it correctly. Seems to be common sense game design, but I'm not an actual game developer, so what do I know? Alright, let's pull these guys through here. Keep an eye on the other group in the back. I don't think they'll get pulled. Once these guys start running, I'll stun. Get them out of the rune. That's a good idea. Only reason you'd want to play BM was to have 2 exotic pets at once. You have to talent it, and the talent's not competitive. Yeah. I don't know, it's kind of cool if you could have like the heroism and the B-res pet out at the same time. It's pretty cool. It's really good utility, but then if you're playing the spec to do more damage and then you're not doing more damage with that setup, then, well, kind of counterproductive.
Beware.
Let's pop Avatar here. And let's not stand in that swirly. Oh, the BRS pet is gone? I didn't know that. So what do the Spirit Beasts do now if they don't B-res anymore? Is it just like a heal? Or wasn't the Spirit Beast, it was Quillin, right?
Beware.
Is Arms my main, and what do I think of it compared to Fury? Arms is my main spec right now, and I think it's a little bit less fun than Fury, but it's still a very fun spec, and I am having a lot of fun playing it. One of the things that I like about both warrior specs is that you do have to put in some thought and planning as far as like when you're going to use your abilities and when you're going to make use of DPS, particularly AoE, right?
Beware.
So you have to think about like when you want to use sweeping strikes. Is it worth using it on the pole that you're on? Should you wait a little bit longer? Should you hold it for the next pole? Should you wait 5 seconds so that you'll have mobs in execute range when you use it? It's subtle, and sure, you can get by with just using it on cooldown. Wow, this is a big pull. Somehow we're going to survive. Stun out. Let's taunt you. Yeah, we're gonna wait for mana after this pull. So yeah, like with Arms, you have a lot of things to think about, and you can do really strong DPS in AoE situations with that. It's just you can optimize it a lot as well, and I really like that. And then Fury, you know, the interaction between Whirlwind and all of your other single target abilities is a lot of fun, in my opinion. Yeah, I like Arms. Arms is... I've played Arms at some point off and on, like since vanilla, almost every expansion. And right now is the most enjoyable it has ever been for me. I'm sure there are warriors out there who will disagree with that, but I think it's as good as it has ever been. And I am truly enjoying it. One of the things that I didn't like about Arms in previous expansions is it felt like you were like resource starved, rage starved, but I haven't really felt that in BFA. There hasn't been a point. I mean, there are definitely times in Arms rotation where you're waiting for resources to come in, but it doesn't feel like you're being resource starved at the same time. Let's get them out of that. Try and keep them close enough so that team can stand in it.
Run away, little girl. Run away.
Hopefully we can get an interrupt on her. Alright. Let's probably Avatar now. Should have popped it earlier. Historical Partisan. What's up, man? That's a cool username. Alright.
Sea to sea, ashes to ashes,
More Azurite.
tide to tide. May your souls find peaceful currents.
Get a little closer, I think. There it is. Ooh, don't die. Ooh, that was harder to pull than I was expecting it to be. Oh. Guess we're not gonna skip this one. See if we can spell reflect those. Honor up the next one. Got him. Got another pull up here. Alright. Alright, I should be able to get the next interrupt. Got him. Definitely get some mana after that one. That was a lot of mobs right in a row. I'll take some IRL mana. Right, let's pull these guys. Looks like our quest item is in this next room here. Oh. Should probably actually attack the mobs, you know, be in the tank and all. Closer. I'm not sure how I feel about all the tentacles in this place. Alright. Got the item. Now we gotta kill the last boss. What's not to love about Tentacles this expansion? Asking the real questions. There's a lot of them. They're very voidy. If they're void tentacles because you need to avoid their damage. I'll stop. Maybe. Culturian Tentacle class set equals best set. It's pretty cool. I'll give you that much. Yeah, that one was for you, Soul. Oof, that joke. Yeah. Hey, I'm allowed to make all the dad jokes that I want because I am a dad. That's how that works, right? Oh, that was a lot of rip minds right at once. Let's swap some defensives this time. Yeah, I didn't want to double pull that. Now I'm a dead dad. Indeed I was. Indeed I was. I will say tentacles is one thing, but people turning into tentacles, yeah, that I'm definitely a little bit creeped out by. Hopefully we don't pull the other side.
The Coltirian fleet is nearly yours, my queen.
It would seem you have guests, Lord Stormsong.
Master, stop this madness at once. The Coltirian fleet must not fall to darkness.
Fool. We must return to the sea.
Maybe that's one too many tentacles. Just one. Just one too many.
To do so. For the last time.
Turning into tentacles? Yeah. Sprouting tentacles is one thing. Turning into tentacles, that's a little bit over the line. Rather wear them.
Beware.
Alright. Let's try to avoid these orbs until we actually need to use them. Bring them over to Joe. Pop Avatar here. I'll use Spell Reflect for the next round of Void Bolts. I don't know if you can actually reflect those.
Beware.
Alright, nicely done. Hey, cape. That is a slight downgrade because of the mastery, or because of the haste, not mastery.
You turned against the tide.
Lack of haste.
Now you have been
Entire human mass turning into one tentacle. That is pretty strange. I wasn't even thinking about it that way.
festers here.
Even more suspicious.
Heroes, some unseen evil
I mean, I'd think that you would turn into at least 5 tentacles, right?
move its influence from
Depending on how many limbs intact you have, I guess. One just doesn't seem like enough. Never thought I'd be saying that about tentacles. Ooh, we can actually mount up in here.
By the Tide Mother, do not listen to its whispers. This horror
Stun the eels.
will twist your souls.
Alright, this boss is pretty cool, I think. My item level is 333 for Prot. It is higher for Arms / Fury. It's 334 for those. So, had some luck with drops this week, but not as much as some people did. I think I have a little more than half epics. I still have a few rares, like both rings are still rares, one of my trinkets, belt, cloak, and one of my Azurite pieces. But overall, good week on drops. We've still got 3 more weeks to go before any like rated type content, before any really difficult content opens up. So I'm happy with the progress so far this week.
4, 3.
Want to make sure that I can do the additional mythic dungeons next week. So, all right, let's go pick up the ad. Good time to pop Avatar. Dodge those Tenta Slams. Interrupt that. Three weeks till Old Year? Well, so I guess it's just 2 weeks, huh? 2 more lockouts. 2 more loot lockouts. Might as well level on alt. Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I'm probably going to level my mage first, because my mage is my enchanter, and it'd be nice to have that. My warrior is herbalist alchemist, so I can already make flasks and potions for myself, and then being able to enchant would also be really nice. And mages are just fun. That matters, right?
Beware.
You mini-mage? Nice. Alright. Guessing we turn this quest in back in the capital.
You dare to interfere in my affairs?
Maybe?
What makes you think you can oppose my will?
I know, on the coast of Stormsong. Alright.
Enjoy this victory.
That is not where I was expecting to turn in. I'm glad I looked it up.
I can feel the dark presence receding. The shrine.
So we ran in, so I can't teleport out of the dungeon. Is there a way out?
Thank you, heroes. You've returned hope to the Kotiran people.
Sometimes there is. I never noticed this before. Tide Sages are bringing up a ship. Takes a lot of them to do what Gino was able to do. Oh, probably if we talk to Brother Pike, we get to port out.
Tide's blessing.
There we go.
We must carry on.
What realm do I play on? I play on Windrunner US. Not sure which Windrunner it's supposed to be named after, but it's it is Windrunner. Alright. Let's go turn in this quest and see what's next on this quest line. We've already been to the Freehold area. We've already been through Tol Dagor, and we have now been through the Shrine of the Storms. So since this is the Alliance quest line, there's I guess they could end up sending us down to Drustvar into Wakehar's Manor. We'll see. Maybe they were going to sacrifice her to Gorak Tol, whatever his name is. I have to say, I really like that they've made an effort to make the flight paths a lot more direct than they used to be. I remember how bad they were in vanilla. Well, maybe bad's the wrong word. I remember how long they were in vanilla. Just be winding around, going in the opposite direction of your intended destination for a while. Was a little bit frustrating. They're much better now. They still get you high up enough that you can see most of the town, most of the area that you're questing in. And yet they still get you from point A to point V really quick. Maybe I might be over exaggerating it. It was pretty bad though. Like there were, I want to say there were like 20-minute flight paths if you were going from like one end of a continent to the other, which maybe that's not too long considering how big Eastern Kingdoms and Kalimdor are, but there were parts where you were taking the scenic route basically, so you'd want to just go straight from one hub to the next, but you'd end up going around half of the zone instead. And it was still the fastest way to go most of the time because you had to hoof it, and getting even just epic riding was very expensive in vanilla. But they've improved those things a lot. Little quality of life things. Yeah, seagull is attacking a crab. We'll leave them to their fight. The eternal struggle. Alright. Got some more Azurite. This ritual is a bit tricky. No matter. Together we will be able to complete it. I shall begin to channel. You will need to activate the runes in the proper order. I shall leave the scroll here so you may consult it. Okay. So it's going to tell me, let's see. Many souls have been lost to the whispers of the tides and rocky shoals that surround Fate's End. Only those who have been washed clean of their mortal shells know the safe path. Passage is guaranteed by calling home those mariners lost to violent seas. The ritual knife, ritual lantern, and ritual bell are each to be used once in the proper order. The proper order is not written down, but clues can be found in the text. Okay. The lost mariners cannot land on a shore with a beacon without a beacon to guide them, so we need to use the lamp first, or the lantern first. The lost mariners will not return if they do not hear our call, so I'm guessing it's going to go lantern, bell, and then knife. Lost mariners cannot return if the seas are rough. They must be reassured the sea is calm. So I'm guessing lantern, bell, knife. Based on that, I hope. There's no extra pages, so. Alright. Hey, what's the worst that can happen if we fail?
Weary souls lost to the depths, we call upon you. Leave the embrace of the abyss to aid your... No, I don't believe that is quite correct. Shall we try again?
Okay. Try the bell.
Hear our bells ring out over the storm's song. Their tolling calls you home.
Alright. I guess we call upon you. That would have been the bell. Is he going to tell me what to do next?
believe that is quite correct.
Okay.
Try again. No, I don't
All right.
believe
Guess
that
we
is
have to use the
quite
knife
correct.
next.
Shall we try again? No, I don't believe that is quite correct.
So I've tried all three of them.
Hear our bells ring out over the storm's song.
Okay, so I'm guessing you have to start over if you don't do it right, right? So by doing the bell again... Okay. So he responds to your dialogue. Interesting.
Wild seas that claim you, on smooth waters and swift currents, sail home. We lift our lanterns over the dark waters. We are beacons to guide you home. Souls
Cool.
washed to sea, return to us. Part the
Are battle pets still the only way to transfer money to different realms?
guide us through the treacherous waters. Now your domain.
Probably. I guess that's the only way you can get something valuable from one realm to another, right? They did increase the amount of gold that you can, like, do a server transfer with. But I think it's still relatively low compared to what we actually have. It used to be something like 50k, but I think it's in the hundreds at least now. Maybe it's up to 1 million.
Tide sages
Not sure.
are the only ones who can venture there safely, but even we remain in the water. Who even set foot upon that shore is to be condemned to death. I do not know what we will find when we arrive at fate's end, hero. I pray we find those we seek, but be wary. That island reeks of evil.
I like how I'm getting fatigued on this boat.
I will remain with our guides and will serve as a beacon for you to find your way back to shore. Good luck.
Play Legion and a dead server, and the battle pets are like 100x prices. Yeah, that'd be one way to get your gold transferred over.
Growth consumes all. She
Oh.
is ours.
Okay, I should switch away from Pride after I kill this mob. Well, fighting the Herald of Gorak Tol, so I'm assuming that means we are going to have to go to the next dungeon. Alright, let's get out of Pride here.
Escape the blighted. Think you have won? Look around.
And there's Gorak Tol himself.
Is not here. Your lost little girl is in my keeping. Oh, how she weeps.
Lady Catherine.
Her suffering will be unending.
No, let's just Hearth. So I like how we had to come all the way over to this island just to fight one mob. I guess I can. Guess I have to wait till I actually land to equip my sword. Pole arm technically, but it looks like a sword. Alright, we'll fly down to Lady Admiral Person Proudmore. really close to another level on my Heart of Azeroth necklace too. And no, that's a Azeroth commendation. Ooh, that'll do it though. That probably won't. I think that's not quite 300.
Speak champion, you return alone, I see. Tell me what you found. Was there any sign of Jaina? Or were we too late?
Okay, so we have to go do some questing in Dresvar. But I don't think that's going to happen tonight, because I need to get to sleep. Got work in the morning. Thank you all for joining us on the stream. Had a lot of people in, had a lot of people in the chat. That made it a lot of fun for me, and I hope a lot of fun for you as well. So thank you all for joining us, and we will be streaming again later this week, probably on Wednesday in the PM, around the same time. And until then, y'all take care of yourselves, have a good day, and watch for upcoming videos on the YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed yet and you like the content, consider doing so. Until next time, see y'all later. Bye-bye.